The following statement is credited to Gartner Inc. and it says the worldwide video game marketplace, which includes video game console hardware and software, online mobile and PC games, is expected to reach 111 billion US dollars by the end of 2015. That is some serious figure. Now, mobile games are the fastest growing segment of the market, with revenue set to nearly double between 2013 and 2015 from 13.2 billion US dollars to 22 billion US dollars. Now, Zubair Abubakar is a tech enthusiast, and he joins me to discuss this issue about mobile gaming industry in Nigeria. He is the co-founder of Chop Up Games. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Thank you very much, Chukwemeka.
So, you had those figures.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're very real figures, I must tell you, and they are huge numbers. And I'll be honest with you, they are going to grow even a lot bigger in the coming years. You know, by the time we have the billions that are not even online yet or don't even have mobile devices yet, by the time we have them join the party, then you are sure to have much bigger figures.
But how much of these figures are from Nigeria?
Yes, so I could tell you from a report done by PwC in 2013, which says that in Nigeria alone, the revenues generated from video games was upwards of $65 million, and it's set to rise to about $170 million by 2017. So yes, in our own little way, we are contributing to this big number you've just mentioned.
Yeah, but a big question pops up here, and that's the fact that are these games developed by Nigerians, or are these foreign games being played or used by Nigerians?
Well, so a majority of them are developed by foreigners, right? And what you find is that games, transcend boundaries. So it doesn't matter if it's done in the US or it's done in China, so long as the entertainment value is there and it's interesting to play, Nigerians will play it. So yes, majority of them is from outside of Nigeria.
So then it brings another important question. Can there ever be a gaming industry in Nigeria?
I know you're getting it. I know you're getting there. Yeah, absolutely. I think that the industry is there, but it's in its infancy, so to speak. It's early days for the gaming industry. So for what I'll say is that the gaming industry in Nigeria right now is like the early days in the early or mid-90s for music industry, where you had guys like Plantation Boys and Remedies literally begging us to listen to their music. So it's actually what's happening in the gaming industry right now. So we have some of us there that are doing the games and trying to get the word out there that hey, we're also building games. So there'll come a time where people would get used to our games and would love to play just only our game, just the way we are listening to only Nigerian music now, as opposed to listening to foreign music. Okay,
so let's talk about the challenges.
Yes.
What challenge does the average game developer face in this market?
So there are a couple of them, but the most important or the biggest, I'd say, is promotion. So what happens after you develop your game? How do you get your game out there? How do you get people to even know about your game? So for me, I believe that if your game is well done and is done well, I believe that Nigerians would even want to play a local-based game over a foreign game because of the fact that games tells the Nigerian story. So it has the local content in it and makes it even more fun because when you're playing things you're familiar with.
Yeah, okay, but what about the issue of funding? Because most of the popular gaming companies today were actually companies that tried and failed and tried and kept trying until they found one game that worked.
Yes.
How do we replay that in this market?
Yes, so like I said, the promotion and distribution is part of it. So another leg to it is the funding part, which is very critical. For games and every other apps, or especially for games, some of the games that are being developed take months.
Because there's no guarantee that the game will succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So there has to be something to cushion it. I know what you're driving at. I get what you're driving at. And that's the case, and that's what I'm about to say, in the sense that most of the gaming companies in Nigeria would need some sort of cushion in terms of funding, whether if it is angel funding or or maybe a Series A funding, but most likely you have to start with an angel funding. So if that funding is there, you know that you can take some time, even if it's 2 to 3 months, develop your game, put it out there, and then spend some money to promote it as well. So funding is a major challenge also in the gaming industry. But then again, it's changing, and it will change as we begin to have success stories, and then investors are more encouraged to invest in gaming companies.
Okay, value chain,
Yes.
because I know that every industry that would succeed
Of course.
usually would have a value chain where other small businesses can plug themselves in and make some money.
Absolutely.
Now, are there value chains in the gaming industry, and what are these?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the entire, what it takes to build a game, right? So you start with, generating the story or the idea of what you want to build, and you move on to the graphic designer who kind of like bring it into life. So build your characters for you, build your environment for the game, and whatever assets that you need to incorporate into the game. And then from there, you move into the animator, whoever that's going to animate those characters and make them move. All these things are, roles that need to be played either by an employee of the company or by you outsourcing it to another company to do this work for you, and then you bring it all together to have a game. And then you now even have to do the extra leg of pushing it out there. So how do you get your game out there? Do you put it up on the Google store, or do you put it up, or you partner with a publisher to help you distribute? So those are the components of the value chain.
So from what you're saying, that as the gaming industry gets bigger in Nigeria, there'll be more SMEs playing around that sector.
Absolutely. There'll be need for jobs or roles for all these things that I've mentioned. It won't necessarily be just one company doing everything.
Okay, so but what do you recommend for this industry going forward? Because there's a possibility that we would sit down, fold our hands, and then we'll see people come from Nigeria and start taking over the games as well. So what do you think?
I mean, it's not a possibility. That's what has been happening. We've all grown up on playing PlayStation, playing, Nintendo or, Atari, depending on how old you are. So that is already happening, right? So what we're doing now is to fight back, so to say, and take what belongs to us. I think that what needs to happen is that we need to have more of the people going into the space and churning out more games and getting people to understand that, listen, this is not it's not a miracle. It's not only the foreigners that can do this. We can also do this, and probably even do it better because we understand our culture and we can pull out interesting games from our own culture. So as we continue to have more and more of this, and people continue to play and enjoy it, then people will gradually migrate from the foreign games to the local games.
Okay, understandable.
Yes.
Now, it comes to another point.
Yes.
How should we deal with gaming addiction?
How should we deal with gaming addiction?
Yes, now, when somebody is overly addicted to games.
Yeah.
Because I know, as a game developer,
Yes.
your goal will be to get me hooked on your game.
Yes.
But again, if it becomes an addiction, how do you deal with it?
Well, so I'll share a short story with you. It's interesting you asked this question. So at some point we released Downfall Reloaded, and I'm sure that you might know of this. And we had a call from a gentleman, and it was actually quite interesting because he called in the evening around 5 p.m. Saying that, hi, is this Chop Up Game? I was like, yes, this is Chop Up Game. And he says, well, my wife just downloaded Downfall Reloaded, and for some reason, she wouldn't let my phone be. She's been with my phone all the time. She's constantly played this thing, and she got stuck somewhere, and she's asked me, she's been bugging me to call you guys to ask you for solution or the way out, And we told this gentleman, and the next day he called again about another stage that he couldn't go by. So this happened continuously, and then he got to a point where he was like, listen, my wife is literally taking over my phone. You guys have to do something. So yeah, I understand what you mean. But what we tell people is that, see, what we build, they're casual games, right? So what we do is games that you can play 5-10 minutes, at this, spare time. You're either commuting to work or commuting to school. You can play quickly and drop and then go back. So it's not like a heavy, it's not like a heavy game where you have to sit down and take months to play out. So by that, we don't think that we would necessarily hook you to the point where it will hurt you and then you won't be able to do totally anything again. It's just an entertainment thing where you play 5-10 minutes.
So I take it that you're cautioning people
Yes.
watching, or gamers who are watching,
Yes.
that they should Take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, definitely take it easy. I'll be honest with you. There's no way about that. Take it easy. You have to do what you have to do to get by on a daily basis. But if you have a few 5-10 minutes, yeah, enjoy our games. You know.
Okay, Zubair, as we wind down the show
Yes,
today,
yes.
you started as out as a mobile developer.
Yes.
Why did you switch to games?
Well, because of the fact that we've seen the potential in gaming. We still do apps, but we've seen the potential in games. We feel like that we have this time to come in and change the space in the sense that there isn't that much of local content in the games that are being played. And we believe that Nigerians will play local content games if they are given the right games to play.
But you think there's a future for mobile apps?
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much, Shukran, my friend.
All right, you've heard Zubair talk about games and the gaming industry in Nigeria with all its potential. I think that it is time that we support that industry as well and help it grow. Be right back. The first question today comes in from Abumchukwu via Facebook, and he says, I hear people say they make money online. How is that possible? Yes, you can make money online. Some of the possible ways you can make money online include e-commerce, freelancing, blogging, affiliate marketing, providing services, and the list goes on and on. The most important thing to note is that you need to have a product or a service that you can offer online. Reality is that there is no free meal out there. Abumchukwu, I would advise you to go watch a previous edition of this show where we looked at creating jobs with technology. You'll find it on the channel's TV YouTube page. The second question came in from Twitter, and it says, can you recommend a good desktop email for me? I would say Mozilla Thunderbird. Now, here are the reasons. First, it is an open source, which simply means that users will keep getting upgrades and new features at no cost whatsoever. Next, I like the fact that it has a simple and easy-to-use interface that will serve both basic and advanced users. That said, the reality is that the desktop email clients are no longer as popular as they used to be. In fact, I believe they are still existing mainly because of corporate organizations. Please send your questions coming through our email techtrends@channelstv.com or via social media as displayed on your screen. I'd like to end today's show with an advice from Abiola Olaniro, who runs a fast-growing gaming company. Hear him. He says, figure out how you're going to make money from the business before you get started. But can this advice really work for the Nigerian developers? I'll leave you to be the judge of that. My name is Chukwemeka Agbata. Remember, innovation makes all the difference. Bye-bye now.